The following podcast is an enticing media production.
Where the Nell have you been? Join us for conversation about life, business, and everything in between. Welcome to What the Nell, where we've got stories to tell. Here's your host, Nell Tice.
Hello, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the What the Nell podcast, the EcoPreneur's Edge edition with the one and only Mikey Vance. Mikey, welcome back.
Hello, Nell. Thanks for having me on the podcast. I'm loving this series. For those who don't know me, I'm Mikey with two E's. I'm also known as Metro Mikey, also with two E's. And the two E's in my name stand for the environment and everyone. Those are the two things that I care about most. I am so honored to be a part of this EcoPreneur's Edge series because, as in previous episodes, we found a multitude of topics to discuss and break down and really share our thoughts and intentions. And we have another great topic coming at you today, so I'm excited to be here.
I am so excited. It is one of the topics that I am most passionate about in my eco-friendly journey. This is an episode all about ingredients to avoid in your hair care products, your skincare products, your supplements, and household cleaning products. A lot of these things, a lot of people don't really think about. And Mikey, I know you are already an expert in the hair care and skincare side of things, and supplements obviously going along with your health and fitness journey and household cleaners. My gosh. Okay. So take us on the beginning of this journey. How did you get started in thinking about this?
I just breathed a silent sigh of exasperation because this is such a convoluted topic. I have done many hours of research over the course of mostly my adult life. So, over a decade, and have still not even covered half of the ingredients, molecules, chemicals that are out there. Yeah. And unfortunately, new ones are being created every day, too. Love science. I'm a huge fan and advocate. Materials science is so cool. We wouldn't have stainless steel. We wouldn't have a lot of the plastics that make our technology affordable, which would have not sparked the industrial revolution or technological revolution. So I am a huge fan and advocate for the science. Along the way, we have definitely been able to test and find some things that probably shouldn't be in our daily lives. So this episode is hopefully a little bit of a culmination. I wanted to do the kind of the top 10 toxic ingredients, and disclaimer, I am not a materials scientist. I am not a doctor. I am not your doctor. I am not giving anyone advice. I'm just sharing the evidence to the best of my ability that I've been able to find over the past year and put it together in as clean of a format as I've been able to.
Yes, thank you for making that disclaimer. I, too, am not anyone's doctor. This is not licensed healthcare practitioner advice. So please do not take it as such, and just put some thoughtful consideration into the information that we have for you today. So, Mikey, why are these ingredients, why are they important to know about and avoid?
So, on my journey, I learned about a statistic, and I'm going to share that with you. For some of these ingredients that are, to the best of our theoretical knowledge, a known carcinogen, it makes about 28 seconds for them to cross the skin barrier to enter into our bloodstream. Once it's in our bloodstream, our healthy heart that we're working on our physical fitness and sustainability on is going to pump those chemicals all around our body. There are some chemicals, so in 28 seconds, and then however long it takes your heart to pump one round of blood through your system is how long it could take for some of these toxins to enter your body. I'm sorry, not to enter, but to start creating harmful effects in your body.
Wow.
Some of these chemicals, molecules, atomic elements can cross the blood-brain barrier. And if it's in our body, it can build up and do a lot of harm. Our body's usually a little bit more resilient than our brain. If it
Mm-hmm.
crosses the blood-brain barrier, it can actually start creating neurological deficiencies and detriments
Wow.
almost immediately.
Wow.
So that is why this has become such an important topic, because I want to be mindful about what I put in and on my body.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And if you think about, and for some people, they might be thinking 28 seconds, that's not that long. Okay, but let's step back and think about when you're in the shower and you're massaging that shampoo into your hair and your scalp, and think about how long that's sitting there, or when you're cleansing your face and you're trying to get all of your makeup off and all of that that's sitting on your skin, or when you're putting lotion on and you're not rinsing that off and it's sitting there on directly on your skin and penetrating that layer to get into your bloodstream. So that is why it's important. I think that and especially supplements, my gosh, you're ingesting those directly. Household cleaners, you are inhaling them. So think about this. Like, this is really important stuff. So let's get started. Let's dive into some of them.
So I, through putting some of the multiple places of research together in
Yeah.
this hopefully cleaner, easily digestible format, I have found that some of them actually are like cross contaminants, if you will. So there are
Mm.
certain things that I found that were in hair care ingredients, skin care ingredients, and household cleaners,
Oh my
or
gosh.
they're in hair care ingredients and supplements.
Right.
And so it's like, are we putting them in our body? Are we putting them on our body? Are we breathing them while we turn the oven cleaning cycle on with some crazy, chemical on the inside that's going to run for 3.5 to 5 hours?
Oh my gosh.
So I'm going to give like a little bit of a rundown of each one, and then I'm going to go through some of the ones that are cross contaminants, if you
Right.
will.
Yeah.
So when it comes to our hair care, I think this one a lot of people are aware of, but like sulfates,
Mm-hmm.
SLS and SLES, those are going to be some things that can cross the blood-brain barrier, but also can just strip our skin and hair of much needed moisture, nutrients, and other beneficial oxidants.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just that should naturally be there. We're going to have silicones.
Mm-hmm.
Some silicones, when it comes to hair care, can actually be beneficial and create like a little bit of slippage, which prevents tangling,
Mm-hmm.
breakage from brushing if you have long hair, breakage from combing if you have short hair, and then isopropyl alcohol, which can
Mm-hmm.
be really great for things in medical and cleaning, industries, but not so great if we're putting it on or in our bodies. And then let's see, another one just for hair care would be nope, that one actually cross-contaminated. So a lot of the ones in the hair care actually cross-contaminated into a lot of the other ones as I was putting this research together.
Yeah.
So some of the ones for skincare that we have, kind of just by itself, are going to be oxybenzone, which
Oh,
is typically
yes.
found in SPFs.
Yes, that's huge.
I stopped recommending that for hair care reasons, because if you spend a fortune on your extensions and then you go in the sun, to the pool, to the beach with your oxybenzone SPF, it can actually damage and discolor your extensions. So
Oh,
not
wow.
good for your skin, not great for your hair or your hair extensions. Another one is going to be hydroquinone or hydroquinone. I'm not exactly sure the pronunciation of that. And then
Mm-hmm.
talc is another one that's frequently in skincare alone.
Yeah.
And talc itself is not bad. However, if we're not sourcing it properly, and we'll probably have to do an episode on greenwashing and
Mm-hmm.
labeling at some point,
Mm-hmm.
because not all skincare is created equally. And if your skincare contains talc and it's not sourced responsibly, it can usually be contaminated with asbestos, which, as we're putting it on our skin, can go right into our lungs and cause a multitude of
Ugh. And
not
if you're, yes, if you're
not great
using
things.
anything with talc in it for any other reason, there's horrible flashback if you're taking photos. So just an FYI.
No flashback Marys, please.
Right.
So that was some of the ones that are just skincare. And then we have in supplements. This one actually didn't cross a lot as I was putting the my lists together.
Mm-hmm.
Artificial colors.
Mm-hmm.
No. Wait, I said, yeah, supplements. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so for our supplements that we're ingesting, artificial colors, Red 40, Yellow Lake. I don't even know what a yellow lake is.
I don't want any of it.
I was like, what? So artificial colors, titanium dioxide, which is huge in the makeup industry.
Yes.
That is kind of like a, it's like an emulsifier, but also an anti-caking agent. So they put it
Yeah.
in a lot of pressed powders
Yeah.
and even some creams too, to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that the materials stay together, the ingredients stay together, but it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't kind of form clumps or lumps or, cakey
Right.
things.
Yeah.
Hydrogenated oils, magnesium
Yes.
stearate, lead,
Oh, I can't even believe this is 2024 and we have to have a conversation about lead in our products.
arsenic.
Oh.
And this, as I had done a little bit more research, the lead and the arsenic, and this goes back to sourcing our ingredients properly and not letting greenwashing techniques. For those who don't know what greenwashing is, it is a company trying to masquerade their products or services as something eco-friendly,
Mm-hmm.
when in all actuality, it is not doing
Yeah.
any good for our environment or the people consuming those products.
Yeah.
So if you have supplements that are made from water sources that are not pure,
Mm-hmm.
from agricultural land that is not being properly taken care of or certified organic or something
Mm-hmm.
like that, these microtoxins, lead, arsenic, stuff like that, can actually get into the supplements that we then ingest. And lead does not do very well when it crosses our blood-brain barrier. I believe it's also radioactive. So we don't want to eat these things.
No, none of this sounds good.
And it just, you would never know. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm on Amazon. These vitamins are $5 on sale. I'm getting 180 of them. And here they are contaminated with lead. And every day for 180 days, you're just eating radioactive heavy metal stuff
Mm-hmm.
that's crossing into your brain barrier. And then they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I wonder where Alzheimer's comes from. I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying that that's what happens, but like, correlation does not equal causation. But
I love
it's
that.
sometimes I just have to scare people into
Mm-hmm.
caring about this situation.
It's true. It's true. Think about it. It's just causing people to think about it because do you really, if you continuously ingest lead for 180 days, knowing that that's what it is, I mean, it's insanity. It's the very definition of insanity, expecting different results doing the same thing every single day.
I have like a almost like my emotions in my brain are flooding because I care about everyone so much. I want to share this. I want to shout it from the rooftops, and I want to make people care, more than they do. And I know how hard it was for me to do all this research, which is why I'm trying to present it in the best possible manner. And I actually have this list as a JPEG and a PDF. So if anybody wants it, leave a rating and review.
Yes.
We'll get a hold of you and we can, send it to you via email, text, however. So like this list that I have is, I want to create value and add to everyone's life because I care about you all. So if you need this list to get a starting point, I am so happy and open and honored to send it to you.
Oh, that's amazing.
But then let me just cover the last one, which is our household cleaners. And there are so many other things that we can talk
Oh my
about, but
gosh.
I only wanted to limit it to these four to not overwhelm myself and to not overwhelm everyone else.
Exactly.
But the household cleaners, and with each one of these, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I don't know your specific medical history. I don't know allergens and everything. The household cleaners, there's some of these that I even still use to this day because it is just the most effective, least toxic way to get the desired result that I have. Working in the beauty and services industry when it comes to dance studios, I have to just be mindful about public health, safety, and welfare.
Yes.
Because that's what I think makes a responsible business owner. So with household cleaners, this one probably more people will have commonalities in. So I don't want to offend anyone or tell you you're doing everything wrong.
Right.
I don't believe in coaching that way. And number two, everyone has different needs and desires and wants and outcomes.
Yes.
So with the household cleaners, cleaners, things that don't really cross-contaminate, are going to be ammonia, which, funnily enough, there is hair color that contains ammonia.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is a household cleaner, and I'm just going to leave it here, but I wanted to add that caveat, but go ahead, Nell.
Yeah, no, I've heard a lot about ammonia in hair colors, and that became something I would ask my own stylist about. Are you using hair color with ammonia? Because I don't want to be in under the bowl, the dryer thing, and in front of in a whole place where this is happening for hours on end. So be very mindful of that. That's so incredibly toxic.
And I'm going to do a small plug here. I have never used ammonia in hair color or anything else in my salon since it was conceived 11 years ago. And I never plan on doing that. I actually use the color company that invented ammonia-free hair color back in 1987, which was, funnily enough, the year that I was born. So I was like, oh, it's a match made in heaven.
Yes.
And since then, they have actually reformulated to take out PPD, paraphenyldiamine, which is a known allergen and possible carcinogen. So back to household cleaners.
Yes.
Ammonia is something that like could be bad depending on your situation. Bleach, sodium hypochlorite, also not great. And please don't ever mix the two.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. No, please don't. That is public service announcement.
So those two were top of the list. And then chlorine, perchloroethylene, PERC, sodium hydroxide, which is lye. Funnily enough, that's what's used in relaxers, which is the chemical straightening treatment to take curly or coily or kinky hair to straight hair. We definitely should only use that in cleaning instances for certain desires and outcomes. I actually know that like people who have horses tend to use lye as a way to sanitize and disinfect horse stalls. So, like, it has its uses. I'm not here to say any chemical or anything is bad. I'm just trying to make sure that we're using it responsibly.
Yeah.
Quaternary ammonium compounds, also known as quats, that's used a lot in the restaurant industry or household cleaners. And 2-butoxyethanol, which is
that's a mouthful.
A rough alcohol used in cleaning ingredients.
Yeah.
So those are some of the ones that didn't, cross over, even though two of them did, into the hair skincare industry.
Yeah, I mean, and I love that you emphasize too that you're not here to say that these are wrong or this is responsible usage too. And I think also it's important to mention that no one is perfect. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I use every non-toxic brand possible and every product I use maybe doesn't contain any of these ingredients. There's also in your lifestyle, it's important to make choices that work for you. And I understand that there are people out there that, I maybe might choose to be mindful about something that I eat, but would choose to do Botox. And, there are different choices that some people make in this realm. Make the right choices for you. That's all we're saying. And to be clear, I have not had Botox yet.
Me either, yet. I would love to have enough time to go back to school to learn how to open a med spa. Because I'm not opposed to doing some of those services in a healthy, responsible, eco-friendly manner.
Yes.
But this actually highlights something that I feel like I wanted to say every episode. There was no great lead in to it, if you will. When I am sharing this knowledge and sharing what works for me and sharing what could work for others, I know an anecdote, if you will, like a fable, where all of us together listening to this podcast and all of us in the world somehow squeezed into a San Francisco trolley car. And we're going down one of the famous San Francisco hills. And the only way to brake going down this hill with the whole world full of people weighing us, down and giving us extra inertia is to pull the brake.
Yeah.
Now, with all of this added weight and load and responsibility, if I were to be the only one reaching up and pulling the handbrake, I probably don't have the strength to stop the trolley before it crashes to our inevitable doom at the bottom of the hill. Even if I pull it at 110%. If all of us in the world were to reach up and grab a part of the brake cable and just pull 5%, we would stop before we even got halfway down the hill.
Yeah.
So the point here is if we just do a little bit collectively, that will change the whole outcome of the world.
Yeah.
No, not one person of us needs to go 110, I hope this doesn't cancel the red balls to the wall, Like, none of us has to do that. We just have to make 5% change, 10% change, 15, 20, 30, 50, if, like, whatever we can do, will do, and should do. Like, that is all we need to do.
That is so beautifully said. Thank you for that. Yes, that's the important part here. We're not here to, we are here to change lives, but we're not here to take over and persuade you. And you're right, every little bit counts. So if we can just even get you to consider some of the things that you're using on your body, in your body, and just think about it. And, we've done our part.
That's it. I still have a few things left on this list that, like I said, I will send to anyone. And these are some of the ones that crossed over into different areas.
Yes.
Excuse me. So we have ones that crossed over into 2 areas, and this first one surprised me. Retinol palmitate, and that is vitamin A, which is also known as retinol, which every 12-year-old in the drunk elephant aisle at Sephora,
oh my gosh,
somehow needed and wanted. Caveat, retinol is like only used for like deep skin turnover. So it's great at it's almost like an at-home chemical peel where it kills all the stuff on the top layer and then shows the bottom layer, which can be great for minimizing pores and wrinkles in people certain ages and older, not 12 years old.
Well, I mean, it's packaged so pretty though. My gosh, I have to have it sitting on my counter.
So this one surprised me because it can be found in hair care, skin care, and supplements. Vitamin A ingested in supplements can be poisonous.
Yeah.
So we don't want to ingest retinol palmitate as much as we don't really want to put it in our hair. In skincare, not always the worst thing if we're using it for its specific desired result.
Okay. I was just about ready to ask if I should throw out my A313.
No, and most companies that aren't greenwashed and that are sourced responsibly usually use the proper dosages and have formulas that will prevent any negative effects from medium to long-term usage.
Good to know.
So I'm going to come to this one last, I think.
So
things
you're saving the best for last.
I am. Polyethylene glycols, PEGs. This one, I'm a little torn on. It's found in hair care and skin care. I believe that these are also like emulsifiers, so they help the formulas stay as their formulas for longer. I love... let me talk about this for a second. When it comes to what I put on and in my bodies, I would love to be able to afford the time to create all of my organic skincare, hair care, supplement, and cleaning ingredients by hand forever.
Yes.
Dream life here. I have to run 2 businesses. I have to pay my mortgage. I have taxes that are due. I don't have time to do all that. And if I were to do all that, I would have to keep them all refrigerated.
Yes.
Could you imagine having a refrigerator in your shower where you made your homemade shampoo and then you had to use it in a week because it was going to spoil?
No.
So when it comes to PEGs, polyethylene glycols, I'm a little torn because polyethylene glycol is like a sister chemical to curing salt, which is what people have been using for generations, if not millennia, to keep meats preserved. So it can keep formulas closer to their formula when it comes out of the manufacturing factory. Just certain forms can be better than other forms. So PEGs, a little bit of a bad rap. not great, but probably not the worst thing.
Mm-hmm.
Things that are really bad that are found in multiple ones, triclosan,
Oh,
huge ingredient that can cross the skin barrier in
yeah.
28 seconds. Formaldehyde,
Yeah.
not great. I mean, it's like a cadaver preservative. We're
Mm-hmm.
alive. We don't need it. And number two, formaldehyde in many different instances when exposed to UV radiation in the sunlight, in a tanning bed. Hopefully, no one's still doing that. Or heated, like in a household cleaner, like your oven cleaner, or
Yeah.
in a salon. A lot of the keratin treatments had formaldehyde or derivatives of formaldehyde, which when heated would turn into a vapor, and we would just be breathing formaldehyde in these salons as
Oh,
clients and
gosh.
as hairstylists.
Yeah.
And then phthalates, which let
Mm-hmm.
me just pull it. Phthalates are often used to make fragrances last longer. Phthalates are endocrine disruptors and have been linked to reproductive and developmental issues.
Yeah.
So, triclosan, formaldehyde, phthalates found in hair care, skincare, and household cleaners. So
Yeah.
those are like the three that were found in three places.
Yeah. Big three crossover, I'll call them.
The big three crossovers, that's exactly right. And then parabens can also
Yeah.
be found in hair care and skincare.
Yeah.
So this last one I saved because it brings up a conversation that needs to be had and kind of goes back to my disclaimer where with household cleaners, with supplements, with skincare, with hair care, we all have many different outcomes. One of them, when it comes to synthetic fragrances, which can be found in hair care, skincare, which can also be perfumes,
Mm-hmm.
colognes, and stuff like that. Synthetic fragrances mostly are not, they're not always great because fragrance is one of the places in the US where you can hide ingredients because they're a trade secret. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have a formula that is vegan, organic, natural,
Cruelty free.
cruelty-free, all of
Mm-hmm.
the things that we're looking for when it comes, and I said organic, not USDA organic,
Right.
because that can trick us too. If you have
Yes.
a synthetic fragrance where the formula is looking pristine and then it says, uh, you know, parfum,
Mm-hmm.
synthetic fragrance or something like that, usually it's in
Mm-hmm.
parentheses,
Yeah.
that can contain lead,
Oh.
arsenic, tritium, deuterium, like whatever they wanted to put in there, they would never have to disclose that information. So you don't even know.
Yeah.
However, when it comes to fragrance and specifically synthetic fragrances, there are a lot of people who love products who have an allergy to
Yeah.
a natural thing like an
Mhm.
orange or a tangerine or a
Right.
cherry blossom or a violet or whatever, who
Mm-hmm.
love that scent but can't put the actual organic thing on themselves. So
Right.
synthetic fragrances sometimes tend to get a bad rap. Most, like 99% of the time it's not great, but in the 1% of the time where they're doing it to prevent somebody from having an allergic reaction, it can
Right.
be a wholesome ingredient.
Yes.
That's my
Yes.
list. That's it. That's all.
What a list. My gosh. I mean, that's pretty incredible to think about, especially how many of these chemicals cross over. So if you're using if you think about it, you're using a hair care, skincare, household cleaner, and supplement that has any one of these that might be crossing over. You're getting 4 times the amount. And that's really scary to think about. So, but that's what we're here to do, is to just help you think about moving forward with, making some other choices, possibly even in your life and elsewhere. And so whatever we can do to help with that. And Mikey, thank you for putting that list together. That's really extensive. I love it.
My exasperated sigh of anxiety from the beginning of the episode just came back because it's a lot, and I know a lot about this, and I
Hmm.
still don't even know everything about. I don't know how
No.
one would become but like we will literally probably need AI to come up
Oh,
with a full list
yeah.
of things that could even be related to what I put together here.
Oh my gosh. All right, AI, do your thing.
Yes, somebody
uh,
create that chat GPT prompt and send it to me.
Yes, absolutely. Mikey, thank you for all of this information. Please tell people how they can find you and if they have other questions or maybe even some brands or products that you recommend for some replacements for these items.
So in this episode, I will definitely go ahead and plug my Instagram at Metro Mikey. That's usually where I do most of my ecopreneurial endeavors. But I really want to mention our foundation. It's a 501c nonprofit. Myself and a couple of other people started it. But honestly, it started back in Clubhouse days. We just didn't organize it until end of 2022, beginning of 2023. It is called the Green Beauty Community. It is a website. You can go to thegreenbeautycommunity.com. And that is where we keep that's where we host kind of our services. We are changing things because we just got our 501c nonprofit organized. So we are a complete, nonprofit organization. Donations, which we love and help us on our mission, but we're also committed to continuing, with whatever. They are tax deductible. So for the first time ever, we can actually help benefit you all, for helping benefit us and the environment. On Instagram, we're at the Green Beauty Community Foundation. You can find all of our content, there in easily digestible formats. We are on TikTok at the Green Beauty Community. And then I'm Metro Mikey across all platforms. So feel free to connect with me anywhere there. I will say for hairdressers specifically, if you're happen to be a hairdresser and listening to this podcast, which I know could be a little niche, we have a free online guidebook called the Green Beauty Community Guidebook, which literally goes through step by step how to be knowledgeable in creating an eco-friendly salon, and then steps and brands and resources who are also committed to us making the world a more eco-friendly place.
Oh, amazing. So much information, so much value. Mikey, thank you for everything you do for the community and especially those that are listening and thinking about making changes and in what they do in business and in their lifestyles. So thank you for all of that. And thank you to all of you for listening and watching on YouTube, especially. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave us a review, and let us know if you have questions. We're going to do a Q&A at some point here, so let us know. This is how we grow here at the What the Nell podcast. And until next time, I will catch you on the next one.
To learn more about how to tell your story, connect with Nell at enticingmedia.com. That's ENTICEING media.com. Thanks for listening to the What the Nell podcast.